Hello everyone, this is Terry from Genki Gaming TV, coming back at you with Yokai Watch 2019, episode 21's review. This episode was not nearly as good as 20, but still pretty decent in its own right. But it does not capitalize on the hype or the generalized story feeling that the previous episode provided, but nevertheless this was actually an alright episode. There's no really horrible jokes in it. It just does not have a concise plot that lasts all the way through. This episode starts off like every episode, well, most episodes, where Nate basically says it must be a yokai everywhere. It must be a yokai causing me despair. Everywhere is despair for Nate because of yokai. But in reality, Whisper was basically saying, no, it's just a heat wave, or no, it can't be a yokai. And yet the heat causes Whisper to get slightly dehydrated and shriveled up. Same thing happens to both Nate and Jibanyan through the segment. Turns out, in fact, Nate was right yet again. Whisper is like 0 in 21 at this point. And it was a cool yokai, or at least I think the design is cool. It's Homura Tengu, or Flengu. By the way, its English name is a little lackluster. I'm trying to find any indication why they made the name like this, but there is nothing showing any significance. And Homura Tengu is basically flame in Tengu. So I guess it's the closest thing that they could come up with. So the segment kind of continues on with them confronting Flengu. Whisper saying he was knocked down into some water. And then Flengu says, well, Flengu indicates that Flengu likes idols. And we get a Labu-Dabu style picture of a boyfriend and girlfriend doing the little heart thing with their hands. It's just too cute for words. But Flengu slightly does not approve. Flengu actually does approve of it, but was in slight denial. But apparently Flengu loves idols as much as Jibanyan. And they both get all of that pink blushiness going on. So they go outside of TV Tokyo, or Toko. I can't remember how they parodied it, but they went outside of the studio. They waited for an idol girl. Turns out the idol girl, once she gets done thanking everyone for their hard work, says stuff like she despises them or she doesn't like them. It all equates to Flengu getting annoyed and Flengu getting mad and turning up the heat. Seems like someone's had the spicy chicken nuggets from Wendy's. But this continued on for a while. Flengu turning up the heat, causing our protagonists to shrivel up like old mummies. Well, to make them look like mummies. But luckily the police come and arrest Flengu for being a horrible hazard to society, so there's one arc Nate has not gotten. So we get a nice little sequence change to Emi, and yes, that Emi. I even have a cute picture of Emi and Jibanyan. But Emi now has a Wan-chan, a puppy. This makes Jibanyan sad because Jibanyan feels as if Jibanyan has been replaced, so a bad situation happens, the puppy dog goes missing, and we can't have missing dogs within the Yokai Watch world. They'll become Manjimutts. We can't let that happen, because only one Manjimut can exist at the same time. Same thing goes for the Dandoodles of the world. And I probably just contradicted myself, because there's probably someone out there with an entire team of Manjimut and an entire team of Dandoodle, if that is even physically possible, because you never know. I know you're out there, person. You have multiple copies of Yokai Watch 1 and Yokai Watch 2 and 3 in order to have all of the Manjimutts and Dandoodles. But that's beside the point. This section of the episode transitions in a rather lovely way. Jibanyan saves the little puppy from being hit by a truck, and then the puppy allows him to pet him, and you get a cute little pet scene, and it's rather a little bit bittersweet, until you find out the fact that Emi-chan was looking at pictures of Jibanyan when Jibanyan was her pet. Then we transition to a segment that did not even need to exist. Yes, Koma-san. Koma-san is not having a good 2019. He's gone from kick butt action Koma-san and Shadow Side to cute comedy gimmick wig club for geezers, 4Com doing Komami searching Koma-san. It's so sad you fell from grace, sir, and you dragged Komajiro down with you. But we get a transition to a coyote and a roadrunner skit by Whisper in Noko. I really like this mini segment, because he tried to get Noko in a little pitfall. He tried to draw a trap. He tried to get Noko with a crane, but ended up grabbing Ruby-ish J instead. You don't want to do that. That's like hitting a minesweeper. It's a no bueno moment. It's a no good moment. But I would rate this segment probably a B. It was fun. It actually made me laugh. It was a worthwhile thing. Please delete the 4-Koma section that came before it. And we end this episode with our Black Diamond Yawn with Ruby Komashiro. And I feel like Black Diamond Yawn's personality just caused me to feel slightly annoyed in the segment. We could have had a really intense action scene, but Level 5 decided to turn this into a comedy gag where Ruby Komashiro does a flurry of attacks with his Ruby Spear. All of them bounce off of Black Diamond Yawn's head, causing Ruby Komashiro to get tired and be unable to fight because Black Diamond Yawn asked way too many questions to Whisper and really lowered my IQ, because he asked more questions than a 5-year-old does during kindergarten within like a 30-second segment or like a minute or two. I'm like, we have a minute of time, or 2 minutes. We'll have like 20 seconds of dialogue and then 40 seconds of a fight, or 25 seconds of a fight, just to set up the fact that they'll have a true fight later on. Nope. We got Koma-san. That's exactly what happened. We got Koma-san during this segment so hard. We have our hype set, ready for a cool fight, for it to be nonsensical, and for Whisper the headbutt Black Diamond Yawn at the end was the best part of the segment. Even though Whisper shattered into 100 million pieces, I still give Whisper props. Whisper was getting as annoyed as we were. Right, guys? I think I would have headbutted Black Diamond Yawn as well. because I really would like for these Inma style battle arena segments to actually be battles. I mean, that was something that was so well done in Shadowside, the battle segments. You have like 2 to 3 minutes, maybe even your 5-minute fight, but it just felt concise. It felt like a long enough fight that it was a shonen anime that took fighting lightheartedly. I mean, One Piece fights go on forever. Ash knows that. That Luffy Rob Lucci fight is like 3 episodes. Well, not really 3. It's like 2 or 3 tops. It's like a really long fight, guys. I wasn't ever anticipating anything like that for Yokai Watch, but could we get a really good clash between Black Jibanyan and Ruby Komashira? It would be so cool. You could see sparks flying between the headbutt, because you know Black Jibanyan went and used his Black Jibanyan sword and Ruby Komashira's spear. It would have been neat. Maybe we'll still get that. I mean, they still have a lot to do and a lot to really introduce and work with. So all in all, how do I truly feel about this episode? I feel like it's a B- or a C episode. I feel like what it's done, it did well, but it was not an entire fully plot focused episode. Had our beginning segment. I mean, I'm not discriminating against the show for what it is or anything like that. It's not that the idol segment was bad or anything like that. It's just certain things fell out of place after a while, and sometimes that just irritates me just a tiny bit. It doesn't make me mad or anything. It's just, you have this amazing intellectual property that you could do so much with, and I'm not even going to mention the fact that Nate and Katie will probably never have character development together, because we're ignoring that fact. We're pretending that that is actually going to happen because that is what we want as fans, but we don't know if that's even ever going to happen. I mean, it could rain Komasons before that happens. But all in all, the episode felt fun. It's like I actually wanted to really watch and enjoy it. There's been episodes that when I saw that it was going to be like the Four Geezers Wig Club, where I just groaned and sat through it. Where like the plot was not even there. It just felt so... It felt like a 2-year-old wrote the script for the show. So, but for this episode, a B- C+ area episode, that's pretty decent. I mean, if I was to actually throw this episode a bone, since there was the Emi-chan segment, I would give it a B+, or a solid middle B. But that ending and that coma for calm, maybe it is just a solid B episode. I mean, honestly, we're all hoping that they do more with what they have. Which we all have to admit that this episode has been way better than the episodes in the single digits, and like that's a positive. All in all, fun episode. I hope you guys stay positive and have an amazing week that is super duper full of blessings and good things. Bye bye for now.